Hi and welcome back. In our last video we finished up writing our CSS and actually creating our sample page layout. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go ahead and create a template from this layout and then create the individual pages in our site. Now, what is a template? A template is basically just a model. It's a model on which you're going to base all of your pages. And templates have two different areas. They have template regions or template areas, and then they have editable regions or editable areas. And the difference is when we go from page to page in our site, I'm going to bring up our finished version of this site. When we look at the header area up here, this is going to be the same on every single page. It doesn't matter whether it's in the About page or the, and I actually haven't, whoops, sorry, I'm on this. There we go, there's the sample that's done. When we look at the About page, this is all the same. Products, this is all the same. Contact, this is all the same. So our heading area up here with our social media and our logo, our navigation area, our banners, those are all going to be the same. The regions that might change would be the content area right here and the sidebar area here. And again, coming down here to the bottom, the footer is never going to change. That's going to be the same on all of our pages. So these are going to be template regions right here. And our footer is going to be a template region. But we're going to make our content area and our sidebar editable regions. So that way we can edit the areas we need to on our individual pages, but still have these areas up here locked or controlled by the template. So a template region you cannot change on the individual pages, whereas an editable region you can. And if we were to actually, when we look at this, you're going to see that there's a little lock symbol that's going to appear in these regions. When you want to change one of these common areas, one of these template region areas, like let's say adding a link here or modifying your banner, you make that change in the template file, not in the individual page. And when you make a change in the template file, that change is going to cascade to every page that's been formatted with that template. So what that does is it greatly speeds up site-wide changes. For example, let's say that you add a new social network up here. Like let's say you want an icon for Yelp.com. Well, if we weren't using templates, you would need to go to every single page in your site and manually add that. Or if you want to add a page, like let's say we wanted to add a team page here, you'd have to go to every single page and add that individually. So that could be a lot of work. Our site only has 5 pages in it, but once you have 15, 20, 30 pages in your site, well, that instantly becomes just a lot of work. So allowing the template to control the common areas of your page and make those changes on the individual pages will really help you in site design and in managing your website. And then just leaving your editable regions to customize on the individual pages. So again, template regions you're going to modify in the template. You'll see where the template is in just a moment. And then the editable regions you can modify on the individual pages. Now, there are more methods for managing common areas on pages than just templates. There's another very popular method called PHP includes. Or actually, it doesn't have to be PHP, but just generally called includes. So there are other ways to do this. And templates in either Dreamweaver or Expression Web are not perfect by any means. you can have trouble with them from time to time. And usually that trouble arises once the site becomes fairly large. If you are doing a website that has under 50 pages inside of it, I'd say you're going to be fine using templates. But if you're planning a site that is going to have more than 50 pages, maybe 100 or 150 or 300 pages inside of it, or it might grow to that point, you may need to investigate some other ways of managing large sites, like using a content management system or PHP includes or something like that. A very popular content management system is WordPress. And eventually we'll have some videos up on WordPress for you. But again, for smaller sites under 50 pages, templates are going to do great for managing your site. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and here I am back in Expression Web. And I've got my main.html open here, and we want to save this as a template. To do that, you simply go to the File menu right here and select Save As. When the Save As dialog box comes up here, just like any other Save As, you've got to give it a name, and then you have to select the type of file that you're working with. Now, right now, this is just selected standard web pages. So we need to click this drop down here and select Dynamic Web Template, DWT. Now, both Dreamweaver and Expression Web use dynamic web templates or DWT files to implement templates, but they do it in slightly different way. So an Expression Web template, even though it's a DWT file, will not necessarily be compatible with Dreamweaver. It might, but it may not. And the other way is true also. If you open up a Dreamweaver site in Expression Web and it's using DWT files, there may be some problems with that there. But in any case, we've selected this as, but most people don't go back and forth between Dreamweaver and Expression Web, so you're not going to have, probably not going to have to worry about that. So we've gone ahead and selected Dynamic Web Template there, and I'm going to go ahead and select Save here. And you can see I now have main.dwt. The next thing I need to do is I need to identify what areas of the page are template regions. In other words, what areas should be controlled by the template, and what areas are editable regions that can be edited on the individual pages. Now, by default, when you create a DWT file, the entire page is considered a template region. So all you have to do is call out which areas are editable regions on your page. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, and you can see my content area here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that entire content area, all the content that's in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and right click here and select Manage Editable Regions. I need to give this region a name. I'm going to go ahead and call it Content. And then click Add. And close. And you're going to see an orange box will appear around that area, indicating that that is an editable region. Now, in my case, I made an entire div an editable region. And if that's the case, I like to name my editable region the same as the div that it is contained inside of. If, let's say, you didn't want to make the entire area an editable region, that won't work for you, but you can still kind of be descriptive and describe, well, this is an editable region in the sidebar area, the right side area. I'm going to do the same thing though over here in my sidebar. So I'm going to highlight all the text, all the content inside of that div, right click and select Manage Editable Regions, and I'm going to call this one right side, and add. And now that area has been made into an editable region as well. And everything else on this page is going to be considered a template region and can only be changed in this DWT file. So now we're ready to go ahead. Once we've defined our editable regions, we're ready to use our template to create the individual pages in our site. Now, you'll remember the home page needs to be called index.html. And that's what this welcome is linking to right here. And you can see that right here. There's our top nav. And there's welcome. It's linking to about, or to index.html. Then there's about, which links to about.html, products to products.html, services to services.html, and contact to contact.html. I need to remember what I called these pages, because when I create the pages and save them, I need to save them with these exact names. Otherwise the links won't work and I'll have to go in and make some adjustments. So I'm going to go ahead and close my style sheet and my template here. And let's go ahead now and open up index.html. And I want to apply that template, the main.dwt, to this page right here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of this here and delete it and save that change. And then I'm going to go to Format, select Dynamic Web Template, and I'm going to select Attach Dynamic Web Template. And it's going to go ahead and bring up an open dialog box. And you can see I'm in my images I'm in my images folder because that's the last place I left off. I want to go ahead and go back up one level into my main site folder, and there's that main.dwt. I'll go ahead and select that and click open. It's going to say, should say one of one files updated. I'll select close, and let's look at our index page. There we go. We've got all of that content set up in there. And let's go ahead and look at this in a browser just to make sure that it looks the way we want it to. And sure enough, there it is. Looking great. Now, I actually did the Format Dynamic Web Template and Attach because I already had a page created that I wanted to apply that template to. But for About, Product, Services, and Contact, I don't have those created yet. And you'll remember we created pages by going to File and selecting New, and we just did HTML. But this time I'm going to select Create from Dynamic Web Template. I'm going to select that template and click Open, and it's going to say one of one files updated, close. And you're going to see I have untitled.html there. When I save it, this is where I give it a name. I'm going to call it about.html. And you could continue to do that for each one of the pages you want to go ahead and create. Now do products.html. And you could also just do save as and give it a new name. Somehow or another you just need to recreate all these pages with the template attached to it. Contact.html. So now I have all of my pages created. And now let's go ahead and go back into Index, preview this in a browser, and let's see if our page links work. Well, there's About, and sure enough I'm going to about.html. Products, I'm going to Products. Services, going to Services. Contact, going to Contact. I haven't customized any of the content here yet, but you can see what we've done there. And I can go ahead and actually, I'm going to go ahead and open up Products, About, Services, and Contact, and just go ahead and make those changes. I'm going to say About Fullerton Corporation, and then Fullerton Corporation products, Fullerton Corporation, services, and finally we'll do contact us today, or whatever you wanted to put there. And I'm going to go to File, Save All, and we'll again preview this in a browser. This time I'll do Internet Explorer. There's our welcome page, and now I've got About, Products, Services, and finally Contact. So that's all there is to creating a template inside of Expression Web and then creating pages for your site based on that template. And anytime you want a new page for your site, you just simply go to File, New, and From Dynamic Web Template, or Create from Dynamic Web Template, and save it using whatever name you want, and you've got a new page for your website. And then go ahead and add a link right up here. Let's take an example of that. And let's say we wanted to add a team page here. I'm going to go ahead and go to File, New, Create from Dynamic Web Template, select my template, and click Open. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this as team.html. And then I can come here and highlight this and say Meet the Fullerton Team. Save. So now I've got another new page in my template. Now again, the template not only speeds up creating pages, it also makes updating the common areas on your page very simple. I need a link up here for team. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to go ahead and close these files here, just because I've got a lot of them open right now. And I'm going to open up that template, because you'll remember the navigation area was a common area, so we needed to make those changes in the template. And I'm going to come in here to Code View here, and there's my top navigation. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this line here and just copy it and then paste it in there. I'm going to change the href to team.html, and I'm going to change the text link to team. We'll save that, and it says there are 6 files attached to main.dwt, and obviously that's index, products, services, about, contact, and team. Would you like to update them now? Yes, I would. It should say 6 of 6 files updated. Close that. Close that out. Now let's go ahead and open up my index page here. Look at this in design view. Actually, I'm sorry. We need to go ahead and open this up in a browser. And there is a link for the team. And it's that way on every single page. So adding a page to my site, no problem at all using templates. And I actually click that link, and there's Meet the Fullerton Team. Now, probably the next step that you're going to want to take in getting your website ready to be published is to actually begin to optimize your site for different search engines. And that process is called, interestingly enough, search engine optimization. So again, at this point you would want to get your site ready for Google, Bing, Yahoo. You'd want to prepare it so make sure that it's indexed by those search engines properly, so that when people do searches, you come up somewhere in their search result, and slowly but surely begin to increase your ranking to the point where your site can come up on the first page so that people can find you easily. Now, search engine optimization is beyond the scope of these videos. But basically you need to, it's a two-step process. One is actually preparing your site for search engines. And the second part is actually submitting your site properly to Google and to Bing. And a big part of that is creating a sitemap and actually making sure that your site is set up correctly inside of Google and Bing, and also setting yourself up in Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools and Bing Webmaster Tools and whatnot. And again, that's beyond the scope of this series, but if you go to my website, and again there's a link in the description for this video, I do have a search engine optimization guide, an SEO guide if you will, for small businesses that talks about everything you need to know to prepare your site for Google, Bing, Yahoo, other search engines, and how to actually get it submitted to them so that you can begin to be found inside of search engines. So if you're interested in getting your site set up like that, go to my website, look for SEO guide. That stands for search engine optimization, and that download will have all the information that you need to get your site into Google and Bing. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be at the top of the results, but it'll guarantee that you'll be somewhere in your index, and then you can begin to the process of improving your site so that you can increase your ranking and eventually get onto the first page if you're not there for the terms you want automatically. The next video we're going to go ahead and talk about how to set up a second template for your site, and specifically that template is going to have this fading banner inside of it. So we're going to see how to do this fading banner in the next video. So I'll see you then.